Welcome to the Class Business Podcast. I'm Krissy Monaghan, your host, and today we're joined by Dr. Sam Ballington, the founder of the Independent Education Group and director of the National College for Care and Education. Through the NCCE, Sam and her team provide high-quality accredited training for professionals working across the early years education and child and family well-being, helping learners develop their skills and make an even greater impact within their communities. Sam is a finalist for Team-Led Business of the Year, sponsored by Kelly Reynolds at the Class Business Awards. I can't wait for this conversation, so let's dive in. Sam, it's absolutely amazing to have you back here on the Class Business Podcast. For everyone who is listening online or watching us on YouTube, please tell everyone who you are, what do you do, and where do you do it?
Hi, Krissy. Thanks. It's so good to be back. My name is Sam. Hello, everybody. And I am the founder of the Association of Child and Family Coaches. And I'm also the director of a training provider, the National College for Care and Education, or NCCE. And both of these organizations work together to offer quality high training for individuals who want to harness their own experiences, their own lived experiences, to go on and help others. And we do that through ethical, accredited, detailed and safe training that is applied to practice. So therapeutic play and creative therapeutic arts, neurodiversity and neurodivergent training for families and so on. And that is a core of what we do. Yeah.
And how many training courses have you got, Sam?
Oh my goodness, I've lost count, I really have lost count. We've got lots and lots. So we cover NCCE. We started by covering sort of early years education, and I developed the first level 6 for early years educators a couple of years ago because there was sort of this gap between level 5 and being able to move on. And I then wrote the textbook for the early years educator level 3, which is that you remained Amazon #1 since its release in October, which is absolutely fantastic. We have courses in Lego therapy. We have courses in therapeutic play techniques. We have courses in for teaching assistants. We cover anything to do with working with children, with working with families, and with a huge focus on well-being as well. And then that's in the training provider. With the association, we have the accreditation element of that. So we have our practitioner programs in child and family coaching, and then they can specialize in therapeutic play. They can specialize in neurodivergence and family coaching. They can specialize in creative therapeutic arts, and they can specialize in working with children and young people as well, so, mental well-being.
So just so I'm clear, is that so there's people who can get professionally qualified. I assume these are people that work in the childcare sector, like nurseries, schools, etc.
Yeah.
And then I know you do also do courses for parents.
Anybody really who has got those experiences that they want to harness, and lived experiences don't have to be necessarily. So it all comes from my own personal mission. So Krissy, I started NCCE first, a training provider, because I'd worked in training for a long time, and I was like, I know I can do this better, and I have been doing it better, and that's what I wanted to give my customers and give my learners. And then a few years later, so a few years ago now actually, I decided that there was too much of this. You can train as a ADHD can't even say that probably, or you can train as a, play therapist, which, should be a protected title, but it isn't, for £47, and you can get it done in 40 hours.
I've seen loads of those courses now. It's like training 20 minutes for 47 quid.
Exactly. Yeah. And what is happening? What portfolio doing? What applied practice are you doing? And it was quite scary that this was happening, because it's really unsafe. It's really unethical. It's not the fault of the buyer. Okay, it really isn't, because they wouldn't necessarily know any better. They see this offer. Oh my goodness, I can go and help people by training and I'm going to be qualified. Not at all. And so I decided, hang on, we need to do this better. And as somebody who's worked in training with training providers, and also in awarding organizations, so working with Ofqual and so on, knowing what training providers need, knowing what the sector needs, all of that, I decided that it was really, really important that we had an ethical body that oversaw the sort of the training and what was going on out there. So we started by looking at what training was available. The trainers that were out there really delivering really good stuff, and we gave them accreditations, which was brilliant. But we also developed, because of course I've got the training provider as well, we've also developed a foundation, practitioner and advanced practitioner route within the Association of Child and Family Coaches. So if you think of something like a comparison, I suppose, would be the CIPD. So they have training for HR professionals, for example, or the CMI, Chartered Management Institute. They have specific training up to certain levels. And now we do the same. And we've worked with a couple of training providers to make sure that we have safe, ethical and training, which doesn't take, 20 minutes. It isn't, a few videos and quizzes. It's hard work. It's professional. It's applied practice. And just going back, this comes from the fact that I experienced trauma when I was young, and I wished there were safe professionals who I could approach. And now we have, it's not just trauma isn't just, going straight to what could be the most traumatic experience you can think of, which, I have experienced. However, trauma is, a family, for example, going through the process to get a diagnosis, let's say for their child, a diagnosis of ASD or a diagnosis of ADHD and so on. Over 4 to 6 years waiting time to then get to the end and be handed a leaflet, because there's no support. Support is limited, funding is limited. So what we are doing is supporting people with their own lived experiences to help these people. And again, those lived experiences could be directly personal, or they could be, for example, we have a lot of teachers or social care workers who've seen the lived experiences of others, and they become their lived experiences too, because they are, part of that life. And that's what, that's the target audience, people who have seen those experiences, lived those experiences, and want to make a real difference. And we have a little saying at the Association of Child and Family Coaches: we don't want to just make ripples. We actually want to make waves. And that's what we're doing. Yeah.
Oh, and obviously we spoke in January, and obviously it was the start of a fresh year, and we're 6 months into the year. What have you guys been working on for the last 6 months?
Wow. So we've been doing quite a lot, actually. Obviously, the new practitioner, foundation practitioner and advanced has, launched in. So we've sort of brought worked really, really hard to bring those certifications in, which is absolutely fantastic and just a huge move for us. But we've also started to expand and grow. So as well as the team that we have directly working in what we do, so my team, my staff, and amazing team that are working so hard to support all of our learners on their journeys. We've been growing across the UK with new licensed partners. We've been growing into Europe with new licensed partners. And I've just signed up with a master franchisee, or I've just signed a master franchisee up in India who's going to help grow across Asia. So we're really starting to, those ripples are really now turning into waves, because we are supporting people to become licensed trainers, take on our programs and take them across the world, or around the world, should I say, around the world. And we are then able to help as many children and families as possible. And something really exciting that is happening at the moment is that I am working with the Chartered Management Institute to create a level 7 program that is specifically aligned to, leadership in education, leadership in working with children and families, and really taking everybody to that next level. So that's in the pipeline at the moment, hoping to release that sort of program this year. Very, very exciting. So after the summer holidays, as you can see, I'm hiding. It's the summer holidays at the moment. It's just started and I'm hiding from everybody in the playroom right now, which is why we've got my friends, the caterpillar and the crocodile here. But, so after a nice break over the summer, that is when we're doing a big launch for that as well. So stuff.
Let's just talk about, so the license, right. So let's just backtrack to what you've done in the UK first. So you've decided to go down a license model.
Yeah.
Right. Just walk us through that, because I know that will be interesting to the audience. First of all, what made you decide license instead of franchise, or license, franchise, or do it myself?
Okay.
Because you could have grown that way, couldn't you, as well? So what made you decide to go down the license route?
So the do it myself is what I've been doing for the past 7 years. And the do it myself, you kind of get to a point where you can't do more physically because you are one person. Yes, you have your team with you, but really, the reality is you can't do more than you can do. And when you're working, 50, 60, 70 hours a week, to keep your business going, how am I going to, continue my mission, and get those values out there, get everything out there that I want to get out there, to create those waves? How am I going to do that? I've got to a point where I can't grow any further myself without burning out, and we don't want that. So, so I'm like, what can I do? So franchising, that was definitely an option, but I decided to go with the license model. And the license model means that because we work with awarding organisations, the quality is still overseen by me. Whoever comes on board, whatever that looks like, the quality is still overseen by me. I'm still sort of the head on the plate, if you like, when it comes to working with the awarding organisations and all of the checks that happen, the red tape and stuff. So the licensing model meant that I am still working very, very closely with everybody that joins in. They become part of the team, and my licensees, they are part of my team. They are included in all of our standardization meetings. They're included in our WhatsApp group, everything like that. They get all of the same updates as my team do. And what they get, if you join as a licensee, if you come on board and help me grow my mission, is you get a business that is ready to pick up and go. You get trained as an assessor, so you get that qualification as part of your training. You get all of the training materials that you need. A lot of our training was designed to be delivered online, but my licensees have said, oh, can I do this to be, delivered to groups? And so we create materials that can be delivered to groups. And this can be picked up, trained, taken, and off we go. And you become part of that mission by delivering our training to people that you would like to train. So to more people who want to be part of our mission. And that is how we work, and that is how we grow. Yeah.
Brilliant. And you've launched, that's already launched, has it?
Oh, yes, that was launched last year. So we launched last year, about this time last year. And so we have a few licensees now in the UK and in Europe. And then, of course, we're just sort of starting now over in Asia as well, which is amazing. We have customers and learners everywhere, really, across Europe and also into Dubai. We work with a couple of schools over in Dubai as well. So I'm hoping that we can grow in across that area too, which would be amazing as well. Yeah.
Okay, so the global, obviously the global mission and the global expansion, why did you decide to go and do that? Obviously you said you got customers in those areas, but is there a market? Is there opportunity? Is that what people are wanting and needing?
That's right. So actually, the people that I'm working with in India actually came to us because they saw the mission and they said that is something we need. Okay, so that is something we need in our country. And there is a lot of emphasis at the moment in that area on supporting people into business, which is obviously what this is doing. So supporting people into their own organizations, into their business, but also, a lot of focus on driving family support. And supporting children and young people is starting to sort of really pick up in those areas, which is amazing to hear. But also alongside that sort of global expansion is brilliant, but also we are still growing here in the UK, and we're still looking and working with licensees in the UK, developing that. There's no sort of limitation. It's not a franchise, so there's no limitations on areas. So our licensees can grow how they wish, where they wish, and, work in sort of where we work, so across into Europe and things like that as well. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for people who genuinely want to make a difference, who want to help others make a difference. It's that ripple effect to make those waves. And that's how, that's what we're doing. So it is taking our mission, okay, which is delivering high quality, ethical training to help then children and families. So undertaking our qualifications in child and family therapeutic work, therapeutic coaching, and, delivering that training to others to support them to become practitioners. And then they take that training to work with the children and families directly. So it really is that sort of, ripples into waves effect that we're looking for. Yeah.
Wow, and it sounds really exciting. And obviously, you touched on your team is growing in essence, and obviously that leads us nicely because you are finalists for Team-Led Business of the Year.
Right.
Let's talk about team and how you're managing that whole process at the moment.
Of course, sure. So I have my direct team, and I actually just want to mention them right now because I haven't been very well since November. I've been in and out of hospital and I'm undergoing tests and all sorts of things at the moment. And it means that I've not been in the business as much as I'd like. So I've had to sort of allow myself this to let my team take some of the load from me. And I just want to thank them really for the fact that they are continuing, you know, to just do the role, complete their role, work through, do what they need to do, and keep the business going when I've not been available. And I just want to say a huge thank you to those team members, you know, now, because I wouldn't have been able to carry on this journey without them. They've been incredible. So I've got my direct team members. I then have my partners. I call them my partners because that's really how I feel that it is. So my training partners, the licensees, you know, they are people who have seen the mission and thought, this is amazing. I'm going to invest in this and I'm going to take it and grow it. And I think the passion that they have is just absolutely incredible. And so when they come aboard with us, what we do is, because we work with training providers, they have to, we are the training provider, well, because we work with awarding organizations, we have an element of red tape that we have to work under. So I manage that quality. It also means that our training partners have to have certain qualifications. So as part of their induction process, they gain that qualification to become a certified assessor, which is brilliant. And then what happens is we train them in all of the product and all of the processes, and they are able then to go out and gain their own, trainees, and they deliver the programs. So we have our 8 weeks and our 12-week programs, but we also have sort of our self-paced routes as well. So some people can't attend all of these live programs and complete, because it's quite heavy. So they undertake it in a sort of more of a self-paced manner. So we show them all of the different directions that they can take with their learners. But they're also very much involved in everything that we do. So we have our team community. So they're always going to get the updates. They're always going to be part of that. But we also have things called standardizations, which are wonderful things that we have all of our updates. So we do that quarterly, and we have all of our updates in terms of safeguarding updates. So we make sure that, all of the legislation, everything is up to date. And we have our updates in terms of what's where we've updated the course materials so that they're, anything that's happened in the world that or locally that we may feel that we need to put in. So any sort of things that have happened with children and families in the news, any sort of key themes. So at the moment, for example, there's a lot of talk about ADHD and whether that's a disability and all of these, and whether disability benefits should be given, and that's really important for our community and to talk about and to know about. So we update anything that's sort of key and ready to sort of go. We also make sure that our licensees are very much part of any updates that we give. So if, like I said earlier, some of them want to deliver face to face, so we create the materials face to face, to be able to be delivered face to face. And yeah, that's sort of our process, really.
And I assume the core, like the core HQ team supports all of that, like mechanisms.
Absolutely. So they're part of the team, and everything is given to them. Everything is produced for them. The quality process is very, very tight. So actually communication is there, all of the time. So we are, we focus on, the sort of the learner induction processes in terms of getting their information, sorting their payments out, all of those kinds of things, so that our team, our partners, can focus on what they want to do, which is delivering the training. So we're dealing with all of the stuff behind the scenes. We're managing everything. We have all of the communications from learners come into one central place, and we sort of manage those communications. Well, what can we deal with at HQ so that our trainers don't have to worry about it? And what are questions that are actually really for the trainers? And we can allocate those questions then there. So everything is completely centralized, and we support from there. And we manage sort of any invoicing for them and all of that. And then, of course, there's the red tape side of things, which is the quality element. So any portfolios that our trainers are bringing in, we make sure that the learner work is up to the appropriate standard, and we support the trainers where it's not quite hitting the mark, and we would say maybe you could help the learners with this. And then the certification process, we cover all of that with the awarding organisations, so they don't have any of that sort of back scene admin to do. They really are focusing on delivering the training. Absolutely.
Which is what they want to do. How many people have you got in your team, Sam?
Oh, so over this past year, we have currently, without India, so in Europe and the UK, we've got 11 people working across now. So
cool. Yeah. And how many people are at HQ and centralised to you doing all the other bits and pieces, all the other work?
Yeah, so there's myself, and I've got my own business manager now, who started in I think February, which is pretty amazing. And then I've got my smaller team of assessors. I've got 4 currently working in, and then a marketing manager as well. The marketing manager is really key for both us internally, but also our team that are partners as well, because of course she's promoting everybody out there too. So,
it's brilliant. Oh, well, Sam, it's been amazing to chat with you today about what's been going on this year with the business and how you're growing it through a license model and a master franchise model abroad. It's awesome. And it just shows to the audience that they can grow their business in different ways, because I always think people think franchising is the only option, and it's not. And also franchising is not right for every single person, and I think it's about looking at all the different ways that you can grow. And it's just great to hear your side, because I know there'll be people thinking, that's something I could do, because they feel like they're sort of shoved down the franchise route, and you don't have to franchise your business. You don't have to. So it's great that they can hear that part. And then also talking about how the team have supported you while you've been poorly since November, because I feel like sometimes these situations happen, and sometimes it can be for good, because it means that you've let go of stuff, and then the team have stepped up to do that work on your behalf. Whereas sometimes I think as founders, we can hold on to things as long as possible, because we feel
that's right
to do it. And then somebody's like, I need to just let that go. And then it happens, and you're like, well, actually, it doesn't revolve around me. So
it's the forced hand, and it certainly is. Yeah. But I would definitely say to other founders as well, don't let it get to a point where your hand is forced through burnout or through illness, because you want something in place so that you can have a holiday for a start. I mean, how many founders actually have a real holiday? Yeah, we might go abroad, but we're still working, aren't we?
Yeah, so, still switched on. Oh, amazing. Well, Sam is going to be with us at the Class Business live event and the awards event, because she's a sponsor for us in the evening, where we're going to party in the evening. So she's sponsoring the celebration. But Sam will be at the Class Business Live, and she's going to be hosting a mastermind table for us. And I think it's going to be a great opportunity for people to connect with you. So thank you so much, Sam, for agreeing to be part of the mastermind tables. And if you're watching this right now and this has resonated with you and they'd love to get in touch with you to maybe find out more about becoming a licensee, or B, they might be just interested in how you've grown your business, where's the best place for them to get in touch with you?
Oh, you can find me on Facebook. So I've got just under Sam Ballington, but also the Association of Child and Family Coaches on Facebook. Or you can find me online, and you can contact me via my website, which is samballington.co.uk, or the association's website, which is childandfamilycoaching.org.
Brilliant. Amazing, Sam. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Krissy. It's been great to see you again.